Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary. First, I want to say happy holidays. I hope you all enjoyed a great Christmas/Christmas Eve and are looking forward to the new year. For today's video, I'll be breaking down the last major fight throughout all combat sports, boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, you name it. This is the last real big card of the year, so I figured I'd give the main event the special attention it deserves. In our main event, it is a boxing match for the undisputed bantamweight titles. Excuse me, someone caught my throat. As I said, for the undisputed super bantamweight title, we have the pound for pound best boxer in the world, Naoya the Monster Inoue, taking on David El Rey Picasso. Both fighters undefeated. Inoue 31-0. Picasso 32-0-1. And, needless to say, most boxing fans know who Naoya Inoue is. He is the pound-for-pound best guy in the world right now, especially due to the retirement of Terrence Crawford. He is one of only 3 men in boxing history to be undisputed champions in 2 different weight classes, being also the undisputed featherweight champion as well. And overall, just one of the greatest boxers I have ever seen. And, for my money, the greatest boxer in Japanese history. So, looking at this fight on paper, a matchup that highlights the gap between proven pound-for-pound excellence and a talented contender still testing the ceiling of his ability. Because people got to remember, Picasso is only 25 years old. He has a long way to go. And he's now fighting one of the best ever, and probably the best guy he'll ever fight in his whole career. I'm just going to leave it out there. Inoue enters as one of, the most complete boxers of the modern era. A champion who has unified divisions through precision, timing, and controlled violence. Picasso, meanwhile, represents youth, ambition, and a stylistic curiosity. He's a fighter with real skill, confidence, and size for the weight, but one who has yet to face someone operating at Inoue's level. So this matchup isn't just about power versus toughness. It's about efficiency versus aspiration. So, starting with Naoya Inoue, he is the best. He's best understood as a pressure technician. He's not someone like Isaac Pitbull Cruz who just I don't want to say bull rush, but Isaac Cruz's style. He comes forward constantly on the front foot and never gives his opponents pressure. Inoue is similar in terms that he will pressure, but he is much, much more technical when it comes to the sweet science. He doesn't rush opponents. He doesn't rely on chaos. Everything Inoue does is deliberate. His footwork is compact and economical, allowing him to close distance without overcommitting. And once he's in range, his punch selection is exceptional. From his hook to the body and head, or vice versa, head hook to the body hook. His ability to throw that 1-2 with just a bit of an offbeat to it, so the cross lands flush, to just finding the little gaps in his opponent's guard that allows him to land his shots with pinpoint precision. Inoue throws a straight shots down the middle, especially that right hand and left hook, with minimal telegraphing. But what separates Inoue from most power punchers is that his power is a byproduct of timing and balance, not just wild swing. Some of the best and most powerful boxers you can think of with like legendary power, like say, granted this is a way back in the day boxer, but like Sonny Liston is a good example, right? He wasn't known for being a technical wizard, but he had crushing power because he, was built like a tank and could just swing and you'd be dead. Inoue is a power puncher for the lower weight classes. I mean, this guy fights at bantamweight, junior bantamweight, that kind of stuff. So it's not just that he has power exceptional for his weight class, but his power is also, timing beats speed and precision beats power. And that is very true. And not to mention, he's never off balance. He's never swinging so hard he literally throws himself off the center line. His feet are planted exactly where they need to be to line up the perfect shot. Now, looking at him defensively, Inoue is subtle. He uses small head movements, kind of similar to Gervonta Davis, who can move his head ever so slightly, so the punch isn't connecting. At first glance, it looks like it, but no real force behind it. He's also good at half step back and a high guard that quickly turns into counters. Mostly, Inoue will usually lets his opponents finish their combos and then immediately fire back or fire a counter mid combination at his opponents. Another key element is his bodywork. Inoue invests early to the body, not to score immediate knockdowns, but to slow opponents' legs in reaction. And over the course of a fight, this steadily reduces their ability to escape or mount substantial offense. I mean, shit. You look at Inoue's fight with TJ Donnie, literally forced that guy to retire in the corner due to how bad his back hurt from those punches. Literally a body snatcher. And there's one big weakness of Inoue recent. It's that he has been a bit, the word I'd be overzealous at times. As I've seen Inoue twice at least, get caught with the same overhand, kind of an overhand / left hook as Inoue comes in, and he's more or less walking into the punch. So that is something to think of. Plus, while Inoue has a good chin, he's been dropped only like twice that I can recall. He is getting older. He is 32, so he's about the second half of his prime. So, and at the lower weight classes, he's at an age where, I'm not going to say he's going to turn old overnight. He still has time, but that chin he has is slowly but surely not the same as it used to be, or at least to where he wasn't getting dropped with these punches as he was now. So that is something to keep in mind. And like I said, that left hook as he comes in is the exact same punch I've seen him get dropped with twice. Now, looking at David Picasso, he's a more fluid and expressive fighter. He likes space, rhythm, and variety. Offensively, he works well behind his jab and is comfortable switching tempo. Picasso throws combinations with a sense of flow rather than raw force. So sort of like those smooth operators, there's kind of like a Devin Haney, for an example, where they're able to just fire off combinations, very fast, very precise, also like a Lamont Roach, sort of. Or if you want to think also like a Tyson Fury, if you're just thinking of heavier weight classes, Picasso often looking to outmaneuver opponents rather than overpower them. And Picasso is also relatively tall and long for the division, which allows him to punch at angles and step out before counters come back. I mean, he does stand at 5'8" with a 70-inch reach, and at the 121-pound division, that's pretty significant height and reach. And defensively, Picasso relies more on movement than structure. He prefers those to slide away, pivot, or lean out of range instead of holding a tight guard. And against fighters who lack elite timing, this works well and can make him look elusive. However, this style also requires constant focus and energy. And if his movements slow or become predictable, he can be caught while exiting exchanges. Now, how I see this going, or I guess you could say how this clash will go, it's essentially, this fight is efficiency versus mobility. Picasso will try to keep the fight at mid to long range, using his jab and lateral movement to prevent Inoue from setting his feet. And early on, this could lead to moments where Picasso finds success, especially if Inoue takes time to read his rhythm. And Picasso's youth and confidence may also allow him to start fast, testing angles and forcing Inoue to repeatedly reset. However, Inoue is one of the best fighters in the sports at solving movement-based opponents. He doesn't chase. Instead, Inoue is going to cut off the ring in small increments, take away exits rather than lunging forward as the rounds progress. And Inoue's body shots and well-timed counters would likely begin to slow Picasso's legs. Once that happens, I think Picasso's reliance on movement as his defense becomes a reliability rather than strength. especially when taking into consideration how Inoue is very good at opening up once he gets his opponents to the rings, and he's very, very good at ring cutting. And oftentimes you see, usually it's by the fourth or fifth round is when Inoue gets his opponents to the ropes relatively quickly than when he did at the start of the fight. Another important factor is physicality, because Inoue is extremely strong in the pocket, and when exchanges become brief but intense, his shots carry more impact. Even if Picasso is landing clean punches, Inoue's punches tend to have a cumulative effect over time. That difference in impact changes how a fighter moves, reacts, and takes risks. So overall, I think the most likely outcome is that Picasso has competitive moments early, especially in the first few rounds. His movements and jabs could make the fight look technical and measured at the start, but as Inoue gathers data and begins to time Picasso's exit, the movement would gradually shift. By the middle rounds, Inoue's pressure, body work, and counters would start to break down Picasso's rhythm. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Naoya Inoue. I think due to Picasso's physical advantages, his youth, and overall just that confidence and that sort of chip on his shoulder mentality most young fighters get when they get this opportunity, I think he will start off very hot and very strong. But I just think by the middle and later stages, those are Inoue's world. And that's also where he gets most of his finishes. So my official prediction, I'm going to go with Naoya Inoue, and I'm going to pick him via technical knockout in the mid to late rounds, probably round 6 or beyond is what I'm thinking the finish will happen. And as Naoya Inoue, I think will systematically remove Picasso's movements and options and soon just overwhelm him and beat the crap out of him. No offense to him. No offense to David Picasso, but I just can't pick against Naoya Inoue like ever. The guy is, sure, he's had his moments where he's looked, human, but he really quickly reels it back in and fucks up everybody he goes against. So it's the Marab effect for me, for MMA guys. I ain't picking against him until I see him lose. So in this case, I ain't picking against Inoue until I see him lose. Once again, I'm going to pick Naoya Inoue, and I'm thinking 6th round to later stoppage. With that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think's going to win. But until then, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see you all next time.